Sullivan Theater in buzzing with excitement for another night of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a night expected to deliver laughs, charm, and A-list star power. But what unfolded was no ordinary interview. It was a raw, explosive clash that left the audience gasping, and the internet in a frenzy. Leonardo DiCaprio, the 51-year-old Oscar-winning icon, known for Titanic, The Revenant, and his passionate environmental activism, stepped onto that stage expecting a warm spotlight. Instead, he walked into a carefully laid trap. What began as a routine chat spiraled into one of the most intense confrontations in talk show history, with accusations flying, truths laid bare, and one legend walking off the set. This is the full, unfiltered story of the night Leonardo DiCaprio clashed with Stephen Colbert and shook late-night television to its core. Strap in because this is a showdown you won't forget. The vibrant late show set, bathed in blue and gold lights, pulses with energy. The audience roars as Stephen Colbert, in a tailored suit, strides out for his monologue, his trademark grin in place. It's a chilly evening in New York City, and the Ed Sullivan Theater is alive with anticipation. Stephen Colbert, the sharp-witted king of late-night satire, is in his element, firing off jokes about politics, pop culture, and tonight's guest, Leonardo DiCaprio. The crowd is electric, expecting a captivating chat with the Hollywood titan, who's promoting his new documentary, The Last Horizon, a searing expose on climate change and corporate greed. But backstage, tension is simmering. DiCaprio's team is on edge, sensing something off. They'd been promised a respectful interview about the documentary, a passion project Leo's poured his heart into. But whispers from Colbert's producers hinted at a different agenda. Stephen wanted to dig deeper to challenge DiCaprio's public image as a climate crusader. Was he the authentic activist he claimed to be, or a Hollywood star leveraging causes for relevance? Tonight, Colbert was ready to push buttons, and he was about to learn what happens when you push Leonardo DiCaprio too far. Cut to Colbert at his desk, mid-monologue, his eyes gleaming with mischief. Stephen Colbert, energetic. Folks, we've got a superstar in the house tonight. Leonardo DiCaprio, call, the man who survived a bear attack, a sinking ship, and, teasing, dating rumors every 6 months. His new documentary, The Last Horizon, is out now, and it's all about saving the planet. But you know Leo, he's also all over X, preaching about climate change, flying to summits, and maybe stirring the pot a little. Enthusiastic, give it up for Leonardo DiCaprio. Audience erupts in cheers, camera pans to excited faces, some holding signs reading, "Leo saves Earth," and others whispering eagerly. The audience is eating it up, laughing at Colbert's playful jabs, but they're oblivious to the storm brewing. Sources later revealed that Colbert and his team had spent days crafting questions to provoke DiCaprio, to peel back the layers of his polished persona. They wanted to question whether his activism was genuine or a calculated move to stay in the cultural conversation. It was a bold gamble, but Colbert thrived on risk, or so he thought. Cut to Leonardo DiCaprio stepping onto the stage. The crowd leaps to its feet, roaring with applause. At 51, he's a vision of effortless charisma, tailored suit, tousled hair, and that intense, soulful gaze. He waves graciously, flashes a warm smile, and settles into the guest chair opposite Colbert.
Leonardo DiCaprio, everybody. Welcome to The Late Show. Man, you look like you just stepped out of a climate summit. What's the secret to being this passionate at 51? Is it the documentaries, the ocean air? Spill the beans.
Smiling, his voice calm but commanding. Stephen, it's about finding something worth fighting for. The Last Horizon is my way of shining a light on the climate crisis. Real people, real stakes. Earnest. Passion comes from knowing we're running out of time. Haha. Plus, a good suit helps.
Audience laughs warmly, clapping. Colbert leans forward, his smile friendly but with a hint of challenge.
I love that, fighting for a cause. Now, The Last Horizon, it's a powerful documentary, calling out corporations, governments, the whole system. But some folks online, and I'm just quoting here, say it's a bit skeptical convenient. Like, oh, Leo, the Hollywood star, is suddenly the face of climate change. Challenging. How do you respond to critics who say this is just a way to stay relevant?
Audience shifts uncomfortably, a few murmurs rippling through. DiCaprio's smile falters slightly, but his composure holds, his eyes glinting with a mix of surprise and defiance.
With a soft chuckle, leaning back.
Surprised? Relevant? Stephen, I've been in this fight for over 25 years. Assertive. I founded my foundation in 1998, funded conservation projects, produced documentaries when no one else would. I don't chase relevance, I chase solutions. Passionate. The Last Horizon isn't about me. It's about the scientists, activists, and communities on the front lines. If that's convenient, then I'm damn proud of it.
Audience claps enthusiastically, some cheering loudly. Colbert nods, undeterred, flipping through notes with a theatrical flourish.
That's a great answer, Leo, but let's talk about the now. You're everywhere. X, summits, red carpet.
Fans love the passion, but some say, is this the real Leonardo DiCaprio, or is this a carefully curated image? Like, are you an activist, or is this just Hollywood's version of activism? The audience gasps softly, sensing the shift. DiCaprio leans forward, his smile tightening, but his voice remains steady. Leonardo DiCaprio, assertive. Stephen, I've got no time for that noise. Passionate. I've been out here funding projects, meeting with policymakers, amplifying voices that don't get heard. Challenging. You think this is Hollywood fluff? Try diving into the science, sitting with communities losing their homes to storms. That's not an image, that's my life's work. I've lived it, breathed it for decades. Emphatic. You don't get to question my heart on this. Audience erupts in applause, some standing. Colbert smiles, but his eyes betray a flicker of unease as he presses forward. The stage is charged, and the tension is already crackling. Colbert's probing, testing DiCaprio's resolve, but the Oscar winner is holding his ground with the conviction of a man who's faced bigger battles. The audience is captivated, unaware that Colbert's next move will push this interview into explosive territory, setting the stage for a confrontation that will leave everyone stunned. Close-up of Colbert, his smile now more calculated, his fingers tapping the desk as he leans toward DiCaprio. Stephen Colbert, smoothly. Let's dive deeper into The Last Horizon. It's a bold project, and you talk about it with such conviction. You've been an activist for years, but let's touch on your personal journey too. One thing that comes up, your work with Al Gore on climate issues. You two were tight during an inconvenient truth, but some reports suggest there's been distance since. Maybe even shade. Probing, can you clear that up? Leonardo DiCaprio, warmly, reflective. Al Gore is a pioneer. Working with him was a turning point for me. It opened my eyes to the scale of the crisis. Candidly, we've had our differences, sure, mostly about strategy, but that's what happens when you're in the trenches together. Sincerely, I have nothing but respect for him, and The Last Horizon builds on the work he started. It's about carrying the torch forward. Audience claps softly, touched by the sincerity. Colbert nods, but his expression shifts to something sharper, more probing. Stephen Colbert, smoothly, that's inspiring, Leo, really. Short pause. But there's a quote from Al Gore floating around. He said, Leo's heart is in the right place, but Hollywood's a tough place to preach from. Challenging, some took that as a jab, like you're using climate activism to boost your star power. Probing, what's your response to that? The studio falls deathly silent. A few gasps echo through the crowd. DiCaprio's jaw tightens, his eyes locking onto Colbert's with an intensity that could burn through a glacier. Leonardo DiCaprio. Slowly, his voice low and controlled but laced with fury. Stephen, that's a cheap shot, and you know it. Al and I have talked, privately like adults. You want to twist his words for drama? That's your call, but it's low. I've been in this fight for decades, funding projects, risking my career, speaking out when it wasn't cool. Boost my star power? I don't need clout, I need change. You want to talk about using a platform? Look at what you're doing right now. Turning a real issue into a gotcha moment. Audience murmurs, a mix of gasps and supportive claps. Colbert raises his hands, playing innocent, but his smirk betrays his intent. Stephen Colbert. I hear you, Leo, and I'm just relaying what's out there. No offense meant. Let's pivot to your ex-presence. You're vocal, climate change, politics, corporate greed. That post last meant about big oil's lies got a lot of heat. Critics said you're hypocritical, preaching green while flying private jets. How do you handle that kind of backlash? The audience gasps louder, the tension now palpable. DiCaprio leans forward, his voice dropping to a dangerous, measured calm. Leonardo DiCaprio. You want to talk hypocrisy? Let's talk. I'm not perfect. I've said it 100 times. I fly, I live, I'm human. But I've also funded renewable energy, protected millions of acres, pushed for policy change. You think I'm preaching? I'm fighting a war most people don't even see. What about you, Stephen? You mock serious issues every night for laughs. Is that your activism or just a way to fill your time slot? Audience erupts in applause, some standing, others whispering in shock. Colbert tries to interject, but DiCaprio holds up a hand, silencing him with the authority of a screen legend. Leonardo DiCaprio, continued. And let's be clear, this isn't about my documentary. You didn't invite me here to talk about The Last Horizon. You wanted a fight, a viral clip to juice your ratings. You thought you could poke at me and get a soundbite. Well, you've got my attention now. So what's next? What other knives you got hidden? The studio is electric, the audience hanging on every word. Colbert hesitates, his confidence visibly shaken, but he pushes forward, determined to regain control. Stephen Colbert. Okay, Leo, you're bringing the heat. Let's talk about that X post. It got, what, 4 million views? You knew it'd go viral, right? Stirring the pot is part of the DiCaprio brand, isn't it? Leonardo DiCaprio. Voice rising, cutting through like a storm surge. You're crossing a line, Stephen. I don't post for views. I post what I believe, what I've studied, what I've fought for. You want to talk about brands? Look at this show. You bait guests, you push buttons, all for your precious clicks and ad money. Don't lecture me about authenticity when you're running a circus for the cheap seats. The studio goes dead silent, the weight of DiCaprio's words sinking in. Colbert's face reddens, his composure cracking like a fault line. The audience holds its breath, sensing a turning point. This is where the interview shifts from tense to downright explosive. Leonardo DiCaprio isn't just defending himself, he's dismantling Colbert's carefully crafted persona in front of a live audience and millions watching at home. The host is on the ropes, and the Hollywood icon is about to deliver a blow that will echo through television history. Wide shot of the set, the audience visibly tense, eyes darting between DiCaprio and Colbert. The host tries to laugh it off, but his voice betrays his nerves, cracking slightly. Stephen Colbert. Leo, you're stealing my show here. I'm just doing my job, asking the tough questions. You're a superstar. You can handle a little heat, right? Leonardo DiCaprio, leaning forward, his voice like tempered steel. Your job? Your job is to entertain, Stephen, not to ambush. You invited me here under false pretenses, promising a chat about The Last Horizon, about a crisis that's bigger than both of us. Instead, you've thrown every cheap shot you could. My relationships, my activism, my integrity. You wanted a spectacle, a viral moment to boost your numbers. Well, congratulations, you got one. But you better be ready for what comes with it, because I don't back down when the stakes are this high. Audience gasps, then erupts in applause, some standing in solidarity. Colbert tries to pivot, his hands fidgeting with his notes. Leonardo DiCaprio, continue. You want to talk about authenticity? Let's talk about you. You sit behind this desk, playing the relatable guy, the voice of the people, but it's an act, isn't it? You're a performer just like me, crafting a persona for the cameras. The difference is I own who I am. Every choice, every fight, every call to action. You hide behind your jokes, your applause sign, and call it truth. Who's the one playing a role now, Stephen? The audience roars, a mix of cheers and shocked murmurs. Colbert's face flushes, his hands trembling as he grips the desk, his usual charm replaced by raw vulnerability. Stephen Colbert, that's a bit harsh, Leo. I'm not the one preaching about climate change while chartering yachts. You're a legend, no question, but don't act like you're above scrutiny. This is a talk show, not a shrine to Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio, standing now, his voice booming, commanding the room like a tidal wave. Scrutiny? This isn't scrutiny, it's a witch hunt. You've spent this whole interview trying to paint me as some hypocritical Hollywood pretty boy chasing clout with causes. But let me tell you something, Stephen. I've faced tougher critics than you, scientists, policymakers, the fossil fuel industry, and I'm still standing. Why? Because I'm real. I've fought for this planet for 25 years, risked my career, my reputation, everything. I speak my truth because it's bigger than me. Can you look me in the eye and say you fought for anything that hard? The audience leaps to its feet, cheering thunderously, the room shaking with energy. Colbert stares, mouth agape, struggling to find words. The band plays a nervous riff, but it's drowned out by the crowd's roar. Stephen Colbert, forcing a chuckle, voice cracking. Okay, Leo, you're giving me a masterclass in intensity here. Let's cool things down, maybe talk about something lighter, The Last Horizon, maybe. It's a hell of a film. Leonardo Di Caprio, still standing, unrelenting. No, Stephen, you started this fire. Don't try to put it out now. You've questioned everything, my work, my allies, my soul. So let me ask you something. When's the last time you took a real risk? Not a scripted jab, not a safe quip for your audience's laughs. When's the last time you stood for something, knowing it could cost you everything? Your show, your reputation, your comfort. Because I've done that my whole life. Can you say the same? The studio is silent, the weight of DiCaprio's words hanging heavy. Colbert stares, speechless, his eyes darting to the audience, then back to DiCaprio. The crowd is frozen, sensing a historic moment unfolding. This is it, the moment that will define this night. Leonardo DiCaprio has flipped the script, exposing Colbert's vulnerabilities in front of millions. The host is cornered, his carefully curated image crumbling like a melting ice cap. What happens next will cement this confrontation as a legend in its own right. Close up on Colbert, sweat beading on his forehead, his usual confidence replaced by raw, visible discomfort. He tries to recover, but his voice is unsteady, betraying his nerves. Stephen Colbert. Leo, I respect you, man. This got out of hand, and maybe I pushed too far. I'm sorry if it felt like an ambush. Can we reset, talk about The Last Horizon? It's such an important project. Leonardo DiCaprio, sitting back down but still commanding the stage, his voice steady and powerful. Don't backpedal now, Stephen. You wanted real? Here's real. I've spent my life fighting for this planet, funding solutions, amplifying voices, taking on industries that dwarf me. I've taken risks you can't imagine. Betting on projects nobody wanted, speaking out when it cost me friends, staying true when the world wanted me to shut up. I'm real because I've earned it, every step, every fight. Can you look me in the eye and say you've lived with that kind of fire? An audience claps, many standing, their applause swelling into a roar. Colbert nods slowly, swallowing hard, his bravado completely gone. Stephen Colbert. You're right, Leo. I haven't. Not like you. You fought battles most of us can't fathom, taken risks I can't imagine. Apologetic. I got carried away tonight, and I'm sorry, truly, sincere. You're a legend for a reason. The audience gasps, then claps softly, a mix of awe and respect rippling through the room. DiCaprio nods, his expression softening slightly, but his presence remains commanding. Leonardo DiCaprio. Firmly. Apology accepted, Stephen. Serious, but let this be a lesson. Don't come for someone's truth unless you're ready to face their fire. I came here to talk about The Last Horizon, about a planet on the brink, about real stakes, annoyed. You turned it into a circus, resolute. I'm done with this. DiCaprio stands, removes his microphone, and walks off the set, his head held high. The audience gasps, then erupts into a standing ovation, the theater shaking with applause. Colbert sits, stunned, his hands frozen on the desk. The band plays a frantic riff as the show cuts to commercial. In that moment, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't just win an argument. He redefined his legacy. Stephen Colbert, stripped of his armor, was left speechless as DiCaprio walked off, leaving the stage and the audience in awe. But the fallout from this night was only beginning, as the world watched in shock. Montage of X-posts, YouTube clips, and news headlines. Leonardo DiCaprio walks off Colbert's show after epic takedown. Colbert speechless after DiCaprio's clapback. Leo proves he's unstoppable at 51. Viral clips rack up tens of millions of views, with fans memeing DiCaprio's "Don't come for someone's truth" line into oblivion. The internet erupted like a volcano. Within hours, Leonardo DiCaprio's walk-off was everywhere. X, YouTube, TikTok, even global news outlets. Hashtags like hashtag Leo vs Colbert, hashtag Climate King, and hashtag Don't Mess with Leo trended worldwide, with fans hailing DiCaprio as a hero for his unyielding defense of his mission. Comment sections overflowed with praise. Leo's still got that fire. Colbert got wrecked. Critics were divided. Stephen issued a statement on X, regretfully. I pushed too hard, and Leo reminded me why he's a legend. Sincerely. Respect. But the damage was done. The Late Show's ratings dipped, with viewers calling Colbert's ambush tasteless and unfair. Cut to DiCaprio at a The Last Horizon premiere, mobbed by fans chanting, cheering, Leo, Leo! He poses with climate activists featured in the documentary, his smile fierce, his resolve unshaken. For Leonardo DiCaprio, this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a triumph of epic proportions. At 51, he proved he still got the passion, the fire, and the heart to take on anyone who challenges his truth. The Last Horizon shattered streaming records, earning critical acclaim for its unflinching urgency. His X following grew by millions, with fans young and old celebrating his unapologetic strength. As for Stephen Colbert, he's back to hosting, but insiders say he's been more cautious with guests, wary of sparking another DiCaprio-level clapback. The night of December 2025 didn't just shake the Ed Sullivan Theater. It shook the cultural zeitgeist, reminding the world that Leonardo DiCaprio is no mere celebrity. He's a force, a visionary, a legend who refuses to be dimmed. Slow zoom on a black and white photo of DiCaprio as Jack Dawson in Titanic, fading into a recent image of him, still radiating strength and charisma at 51. This wasn't just a talk show meltdown. It was a testament to resilience, courage, and authenticity. Leonardo DiCaprio didn't just walk off Stephen Colbert's stage. He walked into history, turning an ambush into a masterclass in standing tall, speaking truth, and owning your legacy. At 51, he's not just a legend, he's unstoppable, a star that burns brighter than ever. Upbeat, triumphant music kicks in. A montage flashes through DiCaprio's iconic roles, Jack, Jordan Belfort, Hugh Glass, blending seamlessly with clips of the Colbert Showdown. The narrator's logo glows on screen, pulsing with energy. Thoughtful. What did you think of this legendary throwdown? Was Leonardo DiCaprio justified in walking off Stephen Colbert's show? Or did the host cross a line? Enthusiastic, drop your hottest takes in the comments below. We're reading every single one, and we want to hear your thoughts. If you love this deep dive into one of the most iconic moments in TV history, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another epic breakdown. We've got more drama, more stories, and more unforgettable moments coming your way. Until next time, stay bold, stay real, and whatever you do, dramatically, don't miss with Leonardo DiCaprio.